Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ladies Down to Wonder Lowe. Hey, tonight is a different kind of night. It's a special night, of course, for me because I'm actually my own guest tonight. And I am hosting the show. I'm the star of the show. I'm producing the show. I'm also the camera person. I'm the person that set up the set. I did all of the lighting. I did everything tonight by myself. So I am truly a one woman show tonight, but I'm excited because this is the first time I'll be cooking for you all. Um, like the post said earlier, y'all know I love the cooking. Y'all been watching me post pictures for the last couple of years, and one of the things that everybody else said was, "When are you gonna do a live show where you actually cook?" So you get your wish tonight. So tonight I'm actually gonna prepare a meal. It is a very simple, very easy meal. Um, I call it a one pan meal because technically everything you're gonna make for the main course of it is in one pan, and it's not that hard. We're actually going to have a dessert and a side with it. So for a whole hour, or for probably less than an hour, we're going to have a whole meal when we finish. So get comfortable, come in, pull up a chair. If y'all see me looking back and forth, I have two cameras going. I have one on the side and one in front of me. So don't think I'm losing it because I'm looking over there. But pull up a chair, get you something to drink, get your pencil and pen. I'm gonna tell y'all now. I cook by smell and sight. I measure very little, but I'll try to measure tonight just so you all can get the recipe. So let's see. I don't know where to start. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna start off with dessert because it has to cook the longest. I want to make sure that everything is done before the end of the show. And I'm making something that I watched my grandmother make for years and years and years, and I loved it, and I've always loved it. Oh, first thing first, let me give my little shout out. Y'all see I have on my Arkansas apron tonight. This is one that my baby got me for my birthday a couple of years ago. So you see I'm representing Greater Golden Dumas, Arkansas. Arkansas in the house, we cooking tonight. So I wanted to wear my other apron tonight, but the glare from the camera kind of makes it a little bit hard to see. See now, you don't see me at all hardly because of the color of it. But this one has my grandbaby's names on it. So these are also my little cooking buddies who come over and visit, and we make tea cakes and whatever else they like. So I have to do a show when the lighting is better so I can wear that apron and you all can see their names on it. So anyway, bread pudding. Bread pudding is probably one of the most versatile desserts you can ever make. It is extremely southern, it is extremely country, but it's extremely good. I am one of those folks that I only like to eat something the same way once or twice, and then I try to find some different way to make it. So tonight, what I'm going to show you is how to make a raisin bread pudding. And we're going to start off with, I've already put a half a cup of sugar, and I put half of my cream in the bowl. I'm going to put the rest of it in there. I want to put it in to kind of start melting the sugar a little bit so it wouldn't take so long. So we're going to set that to the side. And can you all see this? Okay, so I got a loaf of raisin bread, and it really doesn't matter what brand you buy or what kind. You know, I don't buy the really expensive kind because I know I'm making bread pudding with it, and you can pretty much make it any way you want to. But I'll tell you another good bread to use for this is also if you like brioche. Brioche makes very good bread pudding, and I think majority of the time if you go to New Orleans and you get bread pudding, that's where you're getting it out of. It's a very nice, sweet bread. It's nice and fluffy, and it tastes amazing. But this is just regular old country raisin bread. And all I'm doing is just, I don't know if y'all can see that. All I'm doing is just cutting up in blocks. Oh, wait a minute. Skip a step. Let me put my eggs in. And I'm using 3 eggs. And I'll crack those in. Now y'all probably going, why she stopped talking? She started cracking eggs. Believe it or not, I know it was 3, but I started counting anyway. So, so we're gonna whisk that all together. So I tell you what, if you know how to make French toast, you know how to make bread pudding. It's really technical. It's the same thing. You're just making it in a different form. I'm gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of vanilla flavor. I like a little bit of extra cinnamon in mine. So, and I told y'all I don't measure stuff. So whatever cap came on the container is technically my measuring spoon. So I put in maybe probably about another, we'll say about a half a tablespoon of cinnamon. And we'll whisk that all together. Okay. Now I don't do a lot of sugar in this, and I don't do a lot of sugar in it because I want to eat some. And most of you know that I've been dealing with type 2 diabetes for the last couple of years. And one of the things that I have done is cut back on my carbs. So technically tonight, I probably will not get to enjoy this dessert, but my husband will. And anybody else that comes by can have raisin bread pudding. So I'm just going to finish cutting up that bread and put it in a bowl. And you just want to make it, push it down into the liquid so it soaks it all up. And I'm probably going to use this whole loaf of bread. But the one thing I hate is a soupy bread pudding. I've already preheated the stove at 375. So we're going to get this ready. And I'm probably going to use a couple more slices of this. I'll leave some in case we want to have some for breakfast. I started cooking when I was about 5 years old. And the first meal I prepared was breakfast. I've been watching my grandmother, or grandmothers, and my dad and my mama cook all those years. And I figured if they could do it, I could do it too. So one Saturday morning, we were at my grandmother Verna's house in Gould. And everybody was still in the bed asleep. And I decided that I would surprise everybody and make breakfast. So I was so small, I could just barely see on the stove. So I went to the table and I pulled up me a chair. I'm gonna put a little bit more cream in this. I'm using half and half also just to watch a little bit of the calories. This actually tastes better, or you can make it with heavy cream if you want to, or you can actually just use regular milk. But over the years, I've started to make it with the cream because to me, it just kind of gives it a richer taste to it. Okay. So anyway, couldn't see on top of the stove. So I went and grabbed one of my grandma's chairs and I pulled the chair over to the table, over to the stove. And I stood at the stove and I made bacon and I made eggs. I cheated on the biscuits. I didn't make homemade biscuits that time, y'all. That time I actually used canned biscuits, but I made bacon and eggs, biscuits, made a pot of coffee, made oatmeal. I set the table, and then I went and woke everybody up. Now what I'm doing, I'm just taking a baking dish, and if y'all think cooking is not messy, you don't know how to cook. This is the best thing in the world right here. This is just butter, and I'm buttering the pan because I don't want this to stick at the end of it when it gets finished. I want it to be able to come out pretty smooth. But I'm buttering up my pan. So anyway, when everybody got up, and it was my sister, my grandma, and my grandfather got up, my grandma came in the kitchen first. Because first of all, it scared her that she smelled food cooking, and she knew that my grandfather wasn't cooking, and she knew my sister wasn't cooking, so nobody could figure out that it was me in the kitchen cooking. So anyway, she came in the kitchen. I was just climbing down out of the chair. I think I was getting the coffee off of the stove. And she just cracked up laughing because she didn't believe that I had stood there and cooked. And y'all still see me? That I had stood at the stove and cooked the whole meal. My eggs were not burnt. Neither was my bacon. My toast was nice and brown and crispy. And my coffee was hot and my oatmeal was thick. So that was my first meal I made as a kid. Now this is actually a bigger dish than what I made of pudding, so that's okay too. I just didn't want to have something too small because this is going to rise again. When you put it in the oven, it's going to rise a little bit and come out nice and fluffy. Now, what I normally do is let me move this close so y'all can see a little better. Is we're going to put a little bit of butter on top of this. And just little dabs of it. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. And that gives it a nice little buttery taste and Kind of helps a little bit with the color. Okay. All right. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven because remember it has to cook about 35 minutes or so. And because I'm forgetful, y'all, I'm going to set the timer. Did y'all mess around and let me burn up my food and I'll be here mad. Okay, so we got our timer on for 35 minutes. Now, we're going to get to the main dish. Now, the main dish, now see, that was the easiest dessert you ever probably made before. Not very many ingredients, didn't take very long to put together, won't take very long to cook, won't take very long to eat. So, now, chop up the last of the vegetables. Now, I'll tell y'all something. To save time, and sometimes a little bit, sometimes you can actually save a little bit of money, is I buy the frozen chopped seasoning mix. And it has the bell peppers and the onions and in it already. What it doesn't have in it that I want in this dish is celery. So I'm going to chop about 2 big, large stalks of celery and add that to it. And then we're going to brown this off. Now, I know that y'all are wondering, now what's the name of the dish she's cooking? I will tell you this. It is inspired by several other dishes I've eaten other places. I am a huge fan of Cajun food. I mean, I don't think I've had anything yet I didn't like or didn't want to try again or I didn't think tasted good or whatever. So you can look at it and say it is maybe a spin off of jambalaya. It could be a little spin off of paella if you've ever had that without the shellfish in it. So you can kind of call it what you want. I just call it a one-pan shrimp dinner. If y'all can think of something fancier, put it in the comments for me. And let me know when it's over what you all think we ought to call it. We ought to name this dish. But right now, we're going to call it Wonder's One Dish Meal. Okay? All right. So I've already put some olive oil in our pan back here. So I'm going to turn the fire on, turn the heat on. And we're going to do it at medium. And we're just going to put our vegetables in and let them start cooking to get a little bit tender. And they were a little bit frozen still, so we want to make sure we get that thawed out. Okay? While that's going on, I will go ahead and slice the sausage. Now, this is where we finna have a serious discussion, y'all. I wash all the meat I cook with. I don't care that it comes in a package. I didn't put it in the package. I wash it. So I'm washing, or at least rinsing off the sausages. Sometimes there's a little bit of grit in the package with the meat, and I just like to rinse it off just to feel better about it. So I go ahead and just rinse them. And all we're gonna do is just slice these, not too thin, but maybe about that thick, because you're still gonna have some good flavor in there. Now, I normally prefer to have everything kind of spicy, but because I'm going to use a different seasoning in this that already has quite a bit of spice to it, I'm just using regular smoked turkey sausage for this. Now, you can use a spicy Cajun sausage. You can use a spicy beef sausage. Pretty much any kind you want to put in there is going to taste good. But if you're going to also season it with something real spicy, kind of taper it a little bit because, you can't make it a little too hot, then you're mad because you can't eat it. So I'm just going to slice that up. Y'all, it might not take us an hour to cook everything tonight. I don't know. Because I already got everything kind of prepped and ready, so it might not be that long. And I'm getting hot, y'all. And hold on. Been having allergy problems, so I get hot. I also get a runny nose. So wash my hands again. pull me a little paper towel back here. You can hear our vegetables starting to sizzle in the pan just a little bit. So let's kind of just stir them around. And really, you don't want them, they don't have to be cooked all the way through because you're going to cook them again anyway. They're going to finish cooking when we add the rice and we add all of the meats and everything else to it. So you don't have to cook it till it's totally done. You just want to cook them till maybe the onions are a little translucent. All right, so we got our sausages already done. And I'll just show you the rest of the ingredients. We have our sausages sliced, but we also have, these are like 3 maybe small chicken breasts that I've already washed. Washed and cut up or diced them and made just kind of small bite-sized pieces. We also have a pound of shrimp that I've let thaw in some water, then I'm going to rinse those off. Now, I like the cooked tail on that's already been deveined. And I leave them with the tail on because for some reason I just think it makes the dish look better and it actually adds some flavor to it. So, but if you don't like it with the tail on, take the tail off, buy the ones without the tail on them. I'm going to go ahead and rinse these because I don't want them to be just really soaking wet whenever we get ready to put them into the dish. So go ahead and drain that water off. All right, now while our vegetables are in the skillet kind of sauteing, we're going to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic to this. I don't know about y'all, but honey, I love some garlic in just about any and everything. And I think I got that from my grandfather. I think my grandfather would boil water and garlic just to smell it sometimes because his house always smelled like something cooking really good and it always had that garlicky smell to it. Now, y'all, I got some spices over here. I don't know which one of you to start telling you about first because, man, they are so good. But I will tell you about this one. This is from the Gourmet Collection Spice Blends, and it is pineapple, mango, and lime chipotle spice blend. Get you some of this. You hear me? Get you some. I'm going to tell you a little bit about where you buy it. I'm going to give you hints is what I'm going to do. Can y'all see that? I'm going to give you hints. You can buy clothes. No, okay. Let me put it like this. It's not the largest retailer, but you can buy clothes. You can buy house goods. You can buy decorative things. You can buy all kinds of things in these stores, and they sell these too. So if you find a home goods store, hint, 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 you go to, I guess I could say it, y'all. I'm scared to say it. I don't want to get in trouble. But I got it at, first time I bought some of at Ross Dress for Less. So go back there in the back where the gourmet food stuff is. Try this stuff, y'all. It is good. They have a whole line of them. And I actually went today to get some, and they are all out and almost cried. But luckily, I still had a little bit of this left. But I'm going to put some of this in a nice dish also. So I'm using probably about 2 tablespoons. We're going to go ahead and put that in. We're going to also put in maybe about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. That's your oregano, your thyme, and your parsley, and all those things mixed together. And then here's the kicker. This is the Cajun season that I said if you're going to use spicy sausages, don't put this in it too because it's going to be way too hot for you. But try some. This is, I'm not going to tell you the name of it. I'm going to show you the back of it real fast. There you go. And you got to figure out what it is. So you can go ahead and kind of sprinkle that in. Now, I will tell you this. Don't be really quick putting that in because once that heat hits the other heat, it will burn your eyes. So be careful. Oh my God. I wish I could smell in here now. Oh my goodness. I wish y'all could. Oh my God. I wish I could smell that. That smells really, really, really good. So we're just going to move our vegetables around a little bit. They are cooking just right. I'll go ahead and add this in. But like I said, be careful because sometimes when you add something that's got like a big hot pepper blend to it, to your heat, it can take your breath away. So be real careful about that. Let that go a little bit longer. We're going to turn it down just a little. Now, I don't think this is going to take an hour, y'all. I really don't. So we're going to use, I had a bowl, this was for something else, but here's what we're going to do right now. Because I do want to cook the chicken separately. We're going to go ahead. Can y'all see? There we go. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take the vegetables out of the skillet. They cooked enough. They've gotten the season mixed in. They're fine. And it smells so good. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. And I'll tell y'all the story about my favorite skillet in a minute. We put that back on the heat. We turn it up just a little. And I'm actually going to cook the chicken with a little bit of butter. Now, yeah, I know. We're supposed to be watching our weight. But, yeah, okay. So we're going to put a little bit of butter in there in the pan and let that melt. And then we're going to add our chicken. So remember, washed, maybe about 2 or 3 breasts, depending on how many people you're cooking for. I'm cooking for 2. So these were very small breasts, so I used maybe 2 of them and just cut them up in a little bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to add that to your skillet. The butter is melted. All right, there's the sizzle. That's why I was waiting here. All right, we got a little sizzle going. Wash your hands. Remember, anytime you're dealing with chicken, fish, any kind of raw meat, always wash your hands after you deal with it. That's the one thing you do not want to do is spread germs. So we're just going to let the chicken cook and get a little bit brown. And it's picking up the spices that were left in the skillet from the vegetables, so that is okay. We can turn it up just a little bit. I don't know how much time we got left. What are we looking for on time? Oh, where's my time? Oh, we got a little bit of time left. So yeah, by the time we get all this all done, I can speed up just a little bit. But anyway, so I want to tell y'all a story about the skillet. Some of y'all know my brother passed away in November. And one of the things that we always did together was cook. From the time we were little kids till we were grown. Whenever I went to visit him, my job was to cook. And his job was to try to tell me how to do it, basically. Well, when he passed away, one of the things that he had that I wanted is that I ended up with his red skillet. And I named the skillet Larry in his honor. So whenever you see me cooking something and I talk about Larry, I'm using my red skillet. That's all it is. Now, let me go ahead and tell you about this. Now, this is saffron rice, yellow rice. Now, you can make this dish. You do not have to use saffron rice. I just like the flavor of it. And it comes with the seasoning and everything in the package. There are different brands that you can use. I guess I can cover it up. There are different brands that you can use. This one seems to be my favorite, really because of the package size it comes in. And it's only 2 of us, so I don't need to buy the giant package. We don't use it all. Or it's too far between me cooking something where I have to use it. So I just normally buy a little pack like that. Okay. So the chicken is browning. So let's check that really quick. And we just need it to get, basically to turn white. We need all of the pink to be gone. And for it to, be white all the way through, and then we're fine. And what we can do to kind of speed it along, because I don't want to run out of time, is we'll go ahead and put the lid on it, and that'll help kind of cook it a little bit faster. Now, after we do that, we got shrimp, but we're going to add the shrimp last because you do not want to put your shrimp in too early. You end up with these little rubber pieces of meat, and you don't want that. Let me explain to you about the tomatoes. So in this recipe, you're using 1 can of diced tomatoes. And what I've done is I already drained them and took the juice off of them and put it in my measuring cup. And I did that because when you prepare the rice calls for 2.5 cups of liquid. But rather than using all water, you're going to use the 1 cup of tomato juice you had from your canned tomatoes. So that's already 1 cup. To that, you can add the rest of the water. So to that, we're going to add another cup of water. And then we have a 1/2 cup for whenever we get ready to put that into the skillet. So that is already ready and waiting to go. All right. So we can go ahead and just add the sausage in. Chicken is where we need it. Uh-oh, we got the lost the sausage. The chicken is where we need it to be. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add the sausage in. Let's kind of get a little stir. Now, we can go ahead. Remember our cooked vegetables? I'm going to add that back into the skillet. Remember I told you we're only using this one skillet. I'm going to add that back in. I wish I could bring the camera over so y'all can see this. Hold on, let me do it this way. That's what it looks like all mixed together. So what we're going to do is put this back and we're going to bring it to a boil along with the water. I got to pick the sausage up, y'all. I don't want to step on it and end up smashed everywhere on the floor. So now what we're going to do, add to that, remember our cup of liquid, our 2 cups of liquid. We'll go ahead and add that in. And then we need a half cup more. I think that's about a half cup. I'm looking down. I'm going to add that in. And we're going to bring that to a boil so we can turn the heat up just a little bit more. Now that we put all that in, we're going to add 1 cube of tomato bouillon with chicken flavor. This stuff is the bomb. This is the bomb, y'all. If you're ever making something and you want that tomatoey taste to be strong and the chicken flavor to be strong, get you some of this. This is good. Now, I have a secret thing I'm going to put in because, again, remember I told you I like spice. So something kind of spice it up. I'll show you the bottle. Y'all can figure out what it is. But we're only going to put like 1 cap in. So we're going to go ahead and crumble the bouillon in. And then we're going to use a half a cap. Now that sounds like a very little bit, but this stuff is very strong. And a little bit goes a long way. So you do not have to put a lot in there. So we've gotten all our water in, got our liquid in. Let's stir that. Let it come to a boil. Okay. Let that come to a boil. So while that's happening, I'm going to prepare or get us ready to do our salad and our sides for this. Because again, remember I told you, it's a full meal. When you get finished, you're going to have everything in one dish and everything's going to be on one plate. You have your salad, you'll have your bread, you'll have a dessert. Simple as that. Nora, girl, I hadn't named it yet. Y'all gonna tell me what the name. Y'all gonna tell me what the name of it is. Let's just say it is jambalaya, paella, Cajun inspired, but it's my rice dish. I make it with shrimp and chicken and sausage, and it tastes really good, but I don't have a name for it. But it's in one pan, and it has all those things in it. So at the end of the show, what I'll do is once I plate it, you all just come in the comment section and tell me what we're gonna name this dish, and whatever y'all say we're gonna name it, that's what we're gonna name it. So y'all can hear that. Okay, our liquid has come to a boil. Now again, I'm gonna add a little bit more garlic to this. Probably maybe another teaspoon. The rest of the garlic, I don't know if y'all can see this on the skillet, but I have another skillet back here that has butter melted in it. And that's going to be for our garlic bread. So we're going to just add the other teaspoon of garlic to that butter and get it all seasoned and ready to go. So when we get ready to do our bread, we're just going to be able to dip it and go. Now, let's go ahead and add the tomatoes. Remember, this is just one large, I think it's hold on, let me check for you. Let me tell y'all exactly. It is it's actually a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Now remember, we drained it and kept the juice. So add the tomatoes in. Go ahead and stir all of that in. Oh, y'all. I wish you could smell it. Now remember, you notice something. Y'all did not see me put salt and pepper or any whole lot of seasonings, just the Cajun seasoning, right? And the reason I didn't put extra seasoning because this yellow rice comes with seasoning already in it. So what you don't want to do is over salt. So sprinkle that in. Now pour that back in. And now we're going to just mix that in so the rice can cook. Remember, one dish. Everything happening in this one skillet. So now let's cover that. So we're going to turn down just a little bit because if we don't want it to scorch, but we do want that rice to fully cook all the way through. Let's check real quick on our bread pudding. It is coming along just fine. All right. Y'all, it's hot in here. And I'm a little tired, but I'm having fun. So what's left? So we know we got to add our shrimp when all that is ready. So let's go ahead and kind of finish off our salad. We can work on our salad while we're waiting on that. I've already washed the greens for the salad, and I like spring mix, y'all. So if y'all notice, I have some of those large little sweet peppers that you can eat, and we're going to use some of these for decoration, and some are going to go in the salad. I have the rest of my yellow and my red bell pepper. That's going to go in the salad. And then we have spring mix. And it's already been washed. Yes, I bought it in the bag, but I washed it anyway. Because remember what I told y'all, I wash everything. So we're going to go ahead. I wasn't wasting water everywhere. Forgot that when I took it out the little pan over here. So we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and just do our salad now. Because remember I told you, when we get finished with this, everything we're going to eat is going to be right in front of us. Now, I cheated a little bit. And I'd already made salad dressing. And this is just balsamic vinegar and olive oil mixed together. Because again, remember, watching the sugar, watching the calorie intake, trying to make sure that I stay as healthy as I can. So we're just going to put a little bit of the salad in the bowl. And yes, I'm using my hands because these are the best utensils you can ever have in the kitchen. And we're going to take, here's my little knife. Just going to put some tomato in it. This is not a fancy salad by any means, y'all. Anybody can make it. It is easy as I don't know what. If you want to add more stuff to it, you really can. Tonight is a simple night, so I'm not going to just do a whole lot of stuff to it. We're going to put some tomatoes in there. And because I like extra tomatoes, I'm going to use 2. But just put those in there. And they've already been washed. Again, I told y'all, I wash everything I cook with before I touch it. Or before it goes in anything, everything gets washed. So, something really simple. Doesn't have to be all fancy. It's salad. That's how we're going to do it. I love colors. You know, we're supposed to eat different colors of foods anyway. That is part of what we're supposed to do to stay healthy. So the more colors you can incorporate into a meal, the better off you are. And honestly, the better off it tastes. Because when you get all these things mixed together and you have all these different peppers and you know, they're not spicy peppers, y'all. These are sweet peppers. So when you bite into them, they are really good and they taste good just about with any salad dressing. So even if you don't make your own salad dressing, if you wanted to make something a little fancier or buy something a little bit fancier, you could. And these will taste just as good with store-bought dressing as they will with any other kind of dressing. So, and I'm heavy on the peppers because I like peppers. All right, so we got that done. So technically, our salad is finished. I keep a little garbage bowl close to me when I'm cooking, so when I get to scraps and everything, I can just put them over my little bowl down there. So there's our salad. It's done. One thing we're going to do is just before we serve, we'll go ahead and dress it. But I'll go ahead and set that to the side over there. And we can move these things out of the way. We're finished with the sugar and all this stuff. So I'm going to move it back here because I want to make sure that you all have room to see how everything this mix is plated. Our little peppers. Let's go ahead and prepare them. because we're going to use them for a little bit of decoration. Again, remember I told you, color is everything, and to make your plate look appetizing. So it's different ways you can do it, and we're just going to slice these in half, and I'm going to put them to the side. I'll move all this stuff out of the way. Y'all don't have a sink full of dishes. So the weird thing about this with cooking like this is that I don't get to wash dishes as we go. Because normally when I get finished cooking and I come out of the kitchen is clean. I don't leave a mess. I hate a mess. So when I come out, all my dishes are already washed. Everything is already put up. I'm going to leave out. I did make a little bit of topping to go on the bread pudding, so I left that out. And let me just wipe my counter. I cook with 3 or 4 different knives for some reason. I don't know why. I think I just like knives sometimes. All right, our skillet is over here sizzling right along. Let's check that really quick. Make sure that it's not sticking and that it's still cooking okay. Oh my God, y'all. If y'all could smell, oh my goodness, if y'all could smell that, you turn it down a little bit, it might be cooking just a little too fast. And I want that rice to stick. Oh my goodness. If y'all could smell this. Okay. So that rice is cooking just fine. Woo. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm going to put the lid back on that. So while that's cooking, we'll go ahead and get our garlic bread ready. Let's do that. So remember I told you earlier I melted a little bit of butter and put a little bit of minced garlic in there so we can get a little taste. Now, I also like to put a little bit of parsley on it, but we'll do that after we finish. Now, you can buy this bread at a local retailer. Costs a whole $1. And it is French bread. And it is absolutely the bomb. It has all this little seasoning on top of it, which I really, 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 really like. And the other part of it is that you can buy it already sliced, but you know me, I like to be fancy sometimes, so I slice it myself. And just cut off your couple pieces, however thick you want them. And I always cut at an angle. I told y'all be trying to be fancy. You cut you off a couple of slices. And again, it's only 2 of us eating, so I'm only going to do about 4. And I'm using a serrated knife because when you cut bread, you can't really cut it with a straight edge knife. It just smashes your bread down and it messes it up. So, only thing we're going to do is take both sides of the bread. I don't know if you're going to see it. Take both sides of the bread and dip it in the butter. Yeah, it's going to be good and buttery. No, this is not fat, healthy, free, any of that. But somebody going, that is not healthy. We're not going to use all the butter, but we're going to put enough on there that you're going to know that you had some garlic bread. Let's put it like that. Okay? We're not going to use all that, y'all. I'm just joking with you. But I want enough on there so that you have some. Yeah. Wipe my hand off. We can put the end back on and slide that back in the bag. And we'll have that for another meal. Just clean my counter off. Okay. Now, put the little parsley flakes on it just to give it some color. You don't have to do that part. I just do it because, again, I like pretty food. And we eat with our eyes first. So we're going to put that right there. And when I take the bread pudding out, we're going to slide the toast in. So we can just put that to the side for right now. All right. Whew, y'all. I'm hot and I'm tired. Man, and people do this professionally on a regular basis. And it's just my first time doing it tonight. I'm having fun, But if I tell you, I'm gonna need a nap after this, y'all. So let me just tell you a little bit about what we're gonna do with the bread pudding. Is I did make a little topping to go on it. Went to the store to get stuff to make bread pudding, got everything else, did not buy extra raisins. But I had dried cranberries. Tastes just as good. We'll do the same thing and just mix them with a little bit of chopped pecans or pecans or pecans or what else have I heard? Well, yeah, that's it. Pecans and pecans. You know, if you're from the country, you say pecans. If you're from somewhere else, you probably say pecans. Because we'll be ready to plate up everything here in a little bit. I want to make sure we got everything out where we need it. Oh, I did not slice up the limes, which were the last little thing. And that'll be for garnish also. So sometimes it seems like the garnishing takes as much effort as the cooking does. And I'm just using 2 little small key limes and just cut them into quarters, that's all. And they can sit to the side just a second. Oh, I did not tell y'all about my little herbs, did I? Now, I grow my own herbs. Now, I did not grow the cilantro. I will not take credit for that. But I did grow the basil, and I have a little sprig of rosemary in there, and then there's a little sprig of mint right there. So whenever I'm cooking and I want to decorate things or I want them to be pretty, I try to keep fresh herbs around and then just use them as you need them. You can store them in the refrigerator for a little while after you buy some, but I try to usually, since I grow them, I don't worry about whether or not I'm wasting. I just only use what I need to use. So we're going to leave this sitting here while we wait a couple more minutes for our rice dish to finish. Let's give that another stir. Because again, we don't want the rice to stick. Oh my God, y'all. And if you notice, as that cooks, that's getting a little bit thicker because that rice is soaking up a lot of that liquid and a lot of that flavor. So this is going to taste really, really good. And the color is amazing. So once we get it plated and you all can see the color of it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that is beautiful. So let's leave that covered for a little while longer. And let's go ahead and check on bread pudding. Oh yeah. That's ready. And let you see that bread pudding. Beautiful bread pudding. Smell it, smell it. Y'all probably going, I hate her. I can't smell it. Well, let that shrimp cook a little while. I mean, not shrimp, the rice cook a little while longer. I don't want to cut this right now. I want to save it because I want to show you, I want to plate it a certain way. And I want to kind of wait till the last minute. So we'll let it cool just a little bit. But did you all get a good look at it? Hold on. I don't know if this one can see it. There's bread pudding. That is raisin bread pudding, cinnamon raisin bread pudding at that. See, I know the name of this. I just don't know the name of the other stuff. So let's put this. That is pretty hot. I want to keep it on that trigger. I'm going to set it right there. So while we're waiting for the shrimp and rice to cook, I'm going to sit down. How about that? I'm going to sit down for a few minutes. I'm trying to know, can't see whether anybody have any comments or questions or let's see. Yes, it is Merle Clark. Yes, it's Mayrose Cafe, not Mayrose Kitchen. I didn't tell y'all why I named my kitchen that, first of all. Like I said, been cooking for years and years and years. So a couple of years ago, I was bored, basically. And some nights I actually go in the kitchen and cook these 5-course meals, and there's only 2 folks in the house. And my husband would look at me like, why are you cooking all this food? I'm like, because I just want to cook. So one particular night I was cooking and I literally was pretending that I had a cooking show. So I had to tell y'all this. Now I'm a cooking nerd. Let's put it like that. So I grew up watching folks like Julia Childs and Justin, the Cajun cook, and Emerald and all these folks. And man, I would be in the kitchen. I don't care if I was scrambling eggs. I would be pretending I had a cooking show and I was scrambling these eggs. So that particular night, oh, my alarm just went off on the oven for the bread pudding. That particular night, I was just in the kitchen pretending that I had a cooking show. So I couldn't think of anything else to call my kitchen. And I'm going, I can't just say live from my kitchen, whatever, whatever. So I thought, I got to think of this of a catchy name. And I thought about this joke my son played on with his cousin. It's been some years ago. And he would always refer to this woman named May Rose. Now, first of all, we have no clue who May Rose is. My son made her up. So I was in the kitchen cooking, and I was like, okay, live from May Rose Cafe. It's Wonder Lowe, and it's my cooking show. So that is why my kitchen's name is May Rose. So if you saw me posting pictures in the past, and I would say this is at May Rose Cafe, it was in my kitchen, y'all. There is no such thing, no place, destination for May Rose Cafe. It is literally in my kitchen. So one of my friends some years ago, I posted some pictures of food, and I love these old school stoneware plates. I know anybody went to grandma's house and ate, remember those old heavy stoneware plates, and I found some at a thrift store. And I don't remember what the dish was. It might have been a breakfast, but I did the whole thing. Because some morning Sundays we would do what we call breakfast buffet, and I would make scrambled eggs, egg casserole, French toast. You make bacon and ham and sausage and biscuits, and you have all these different things. You have hot cereal, cold cereal. Excuse me, you have fruit. You have everything. And I made this plate, and I put it on that plate. So my friend called me one day. She was like, I hate you. And I was like, what did I do now? She goes, I hate you because we have been up all night looking for May Rose Cafe. She said, we have Googled it. We've tried to find it on the internet and we can't find it anywhere. And she goes, I finally called my sister. She was like, that's Wonder's Kitchen. You're never going to find it anywhere. So if you're ever looking for May Rose Cafe, just call me. It's actually my kitchen. It's what my pet name for my kitchen is. One of these days, whenever I'm able and rich and famous or whatever you want to call it, maybe there will be a May Rose Cafe. But right now, May Rose Cafe is in my kitchen. So, if you just join tonight, and it's about 7:47. So if you just getting on tonight and you're trying to figure out what I'm cooking, I actually was cooking a whole meal. And I was trying to show you one meal in one pan. We did a dessert, which was cinnamon raisin bread pudding. And I'm going to show you how to plate that and how to serve that in a few minutes. And we're also cooking a shrimp, chicken, and sausage dish that I cook in one pan. And it is absolutely wonderful. It is Cajun inspired. It is New Orleans inspired. It is Jamaican inspired. It's inspired by a lot of different things I've tasted over the years. And I came back and put my own combination together for it. So if you all don't tell me what the name by the end of the show, or don't tell me what the name in the comments, then the official name is going to be May Rose Cafe's Shrimp and Rice Dish. Simple, to the point. That's it. And what I'll try to do is later on tonight, I'll sit down and I'll enter that recipe for you. So if there's something I missed or something you missed me putting in or ingredient or whatever, then I'll try to enter that recipe for you. So that way, if you want to make this at home, you can. Very simple, very easy, takes less than an hour. We should be able to plate in a few more minutes. Let the rice get done. The bread is already ready. The salad is already made. All we got to do is put this food on the plate and you can sit down and have a wonderful meal. And you're going to notice that we're going to do it in this 1 hour. So just hang tough with me a few more minutes. Anybody have any questions? I mean, if anybody's watching, you have any questions, please post them. I would love to try to answer them. I'm not a professional chef. I've never been trained. My information or my education in cooking is basically secondhand. My mom did go to cooking school, so she was a chef, and I learned from her. My dad was a cook in the military, so I learned how to cook out of a military cookbook that literally served 100 people at a time. So every dish in the cookbook was designed to feed 100 people. How I got good at it and how it actually improved my math skills, to be honest with you, because it taught me how to break down the cups and the divide up everything to make sure that I was only cooking for 10 people. So I would take a recipe that was meant for 100 and I could break it down and cook for 6 to 8 to 10 people. So kudos to my dad because I loved cooking with him and out of that cookbook. My grandmothers, I was in the kitchen with them all the time. My grandfathers, in the kitchen with them all the time. So I had wonderful cooks around me. I had people to teach me different things. And then I had people that gave me the freedom to go in the kitchen and make up stuff as I wanted. And a lot of times I did that. So let's check to see where we are. Oh my God. See how it's thickening up and you're getting just a little bit of crust on the rice. That is perfect. So what I'm going to do is turn it down a little bit more because I don't want it to scorch and burn. I don't mind it being a little sticky. It does get a little bit crunchy under there. And that part really tastes good. Y'all might think it sounds weird, but once you make it and you do it, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So that has cooked to about the consistency we want. If you notice, you see how much thicker that is now? We are right. So now, guess what? We can add our shrimp to it. Remember I told you, add your shrimp last and at the last minute because you do not want tough, rubbery shrimp and you only want it to cook for a few minutes anyway. And you only want the shrimp to cook until it's a nice, pretty pink. So we're going to go ahead and lay that on top. Now remember, this is about 1 pound of shrimp that's been thawed and rinsed. And I get the ones that are deveined and they have been cleaned. But sometimes you might still see a little speck or two. So I always go back over them again and put those in. Okay. Now, I just push them down. I don't stir them in until they're almost done. And then we can put the lid back on and give that about 5 more minutes. And we'll do a good stir. And we'll be ready to plate it up and get you a little bit to eat. All right. So here we go. Now, one thing I did forget, y'all. I forgot to serve y'all something to drink. That's what I forgot. Now, this is probably one of the best Christmas gifts I ever received. And it is an electric wine opener. Now, watch me mess this up because I always do. I knew it. Now, okay. See, I knew what was going to happen to me. Now, it's supposed to help the cork come out, but normally I never get it on the first try. I never get it on the first try. There we go. 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 I got it. Then you can take the cork back out. Well, okay. Sometimes you can if you do it right. Cork comes back out. Boom. There you go. Now, normally, if I cook certain things and I have wine, I cook with the wine too. So, one of my favorite cooks, he's gone now, was I told you, Justin, I think he was called the Raging Cajun. He said if it's good enough to drink, it's good enough to cook with. So, we're just going to let that sit there until we get everything plated up. Now, what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to get our platter ready. We're going to get our platter ready to get our dish on. All right, got that together. And let's see what our shrimp looks like. Then go ahead and put our bread in the oven. And you can put it on broil, but make sure you pay attention to it. So y'all don't let me let this bread burn. Because I'll forget it. Okay, now you can actually smell the shrimp in this. Just gonna mix it in. Let the shrimp finish cooking a few more minutes, and we will be ready to eat, y'all. And we will have cooked a whole meal plus dessert and a side salad in an hour. All right, we're gonna let that. Now, at this point, that rice is done, so you can actually just turn it off and let the heat finish cooking it. We're gonna go ahead. You know, I need 2 of these spoons. We need a spoon. All right. So we got bread pudding spoon. And we can go ahead and do that now. We're going to go ahead and take some bread pudding. We're going to put that on the plate. Then, try not to show y'all brands of stuff. Then we're going to add one of my favorite things. Trying to just throw ice everywhere. Give a little look. Get us a small spoon. Oh, and it's got soft just right. I'm going to put a little bit of ice cream on top. And then we're going to just sprinkle with our pecans. Remember, I told y'all, don't let the bread burn. Y'all almost made me let the bread burn. I just smelled it. Oh, good. It did not burn. Yay. So we can go ahead and put that on the plate. Oh my God, it smells so good. It's a little hot. There's a lot of hot. Woo. Okay. Got that on the plate. All right, let's turn the oven off. Not enough in here. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of mint leaf on your dessert. All right. And there's your bread pudding. Can you see that? Try to get over here so you can see here. That's your bread pudding with a little bit of pecan and dried cranberries on top. Here's your garlic bread. You see? And ready for the big boy. We're going to plate. Ooh, right in the middle. Here, we'll try to do it this way. You know, I won't be able to see it as well, but you'll see the end of it. Put a couple of shrimp on top. Remember I told y'all that would be pretty? Mm-hmm. Trying to get a couple of shrimp on top so you can see them. All right. Now, let's do a little bit of varnishing. We're going to take some fresh cilantro. And you don't want the stems, you just want the leaves. So we're going to put the leaves on top. A little bit of basil. And I'm just going to tear the basil. We're going to put the basil on top. Just color. All right. Y'all have no idea how good it smells in here right now. Now we're just gonna put that little piece of basil right there in the corner. We're gonna put a couple pieces of lime around the plate. Tastes really good when you put a little bit on your shrimp and on your sausage and eat it. If you were serving several people, this one plate, this is going to be more than enough for 2 people, of course. But if you were serving extra people, you want to put some peppers on there just to make it pretty. That's all I'm doing. I told you I love color. I love food to have some pretty colors on the plate. All right, y'all. That was dinner in 1 hour. It is 8 o'clock. We made it. So let me hold this up and see if you can see it. I don't know if you can get a good look at that. That smells as good as it looks. There you go. All right. And I'll post pictures later because I don't think everybody can probably see that as well. But there you go. So we made a 1 dish shrimp, sausage, and chicken dish, rice dish in 1 hour. We made bread pudding. We have our salad. We have a full meal in less than an hour. So if I can do it, you can too. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I have had a ball. I'm getting ready to eat. And you see I'm finna feast, and I'm finna feast well. Hope that you'll come back next time. We'll do this again. I have enjoyed myself. This is very tiring, and it is hot in this kitchen, but I've enjoyed making this dish for you. And again, please post in the comments what you think we ought to name it. I'm going to call it the shrimping, the one-pan shrimp meal, if you don't come up with anything better. But please let me know in the comments what you think of the show, whether or not you want to see me cook again or want to join me again for this. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed you all. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, come back next Tuesday. I have a great show waiting for you. I have some more guests that are going to educate and empower you and help you just to live your best life. So I appreciate you tuning in. If you have not liked us already, make sure that you go to our Facebook page, The Ladies Down to Wonder Lowe. Hit that like button, hit the follow button. Also, get us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified when new shows are posted. Thanks again for you all tuning in. I have so enjoyed myself tonight. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm getting ready to eat. So, bye-bye.